Sally, this is the last week of the regular season for basketball. How will the seeding and selection be different this shortened season than in previous years?
I think the biggest difference is we're going from 16 teams to 8 teams. The district champions automatically qualify, and that is not any different than we've had before. But this year we don't have district tournaments, or we do not have those playoff games, so the district champion, by either record or if there is a tie, it will be by the point spread, will determine the district champion and the automatic berth. With only 8 teams qualifying, in a lot of classifications, we have 6 and 7 teams, districts, so there are only going to be that many teams that are going to qualify. So the at-large bids are going to be maybe 1, 2, or 3 max in order to finish the field. But as far as the criteria, it will be the same. The 6 criteria points will determine seeding and selection, and it is totally data-driven.
You'd mentioned that the district champs earn that automatic qualifier. How do the tiebreakers work? As you briefly mentioned, are district tiebreakers different in this COVID year?
They are not. They are the same. However, they're going to mean a lot this year. Because last year, we have a district tournament, and to get that number 1 seed in that district tournament, we had a playoff game. Those are no longer happening this year. So the tiebreaker procedures to determine who is first in the district will take place. Now that's going to be head-to-head. If there's 2 teams tied, it's head-to-head. And then if that, it would be a point spread. And that will be the district champion and the automatic qualifier. Just because you're tied for first in the district before the tie-breaking procedures does not mean that you are going to qualify for state. There may just be 1 out of that district, and if you are not the automatic qualifier, then you go with all the other teams to see if you're going to be selected into the tournament. And to seed and select, we will use the 6 criteria points that we have done previously. The difference here, though, is that there's less data, there's less games, but those 6 criteria points will be used. And as always, it is data-driven. The NMAA does not have any input whatsoever as to who qualifies.
The big question, will fans be allowed at this year's state basketball tournament?
You know, just like it is in the regular season, spectators are determined by the color of the county. The quarterfinals and the semifinals will be at home site. So depending on the color of the county will determine whether there's going to be spectators or not. As far as the finals at the pit, that's on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So whatever Bernalillo County is at that time will determine whether we're going to have spectators or not.
Spring sports are underway. Will they have a shortened season like many of the fall and winter sports, and are fans allowed there?
You know, spring season, I'm so excited you're saying spring season has started. We've had some baseball games, some track meets. It's really neat to see that spring sports are up and running since we didn't get to do that last year. Now, is the season shortened? Just a little bit. The whole idea throughout the calendar, since we've been moving and shifting this calendar and making sure that all sports played in the 2021 school year, was to make sure that our spring sports got a really solid, good season. So it is not 6 or 7 weeks. It's actually almost 2.5 months that we're going to have those spring sports. So we're looking forward to seeing the end of those. As far as spectators, currently, yellow, green, turquoise county, you are able to go to the outdoor sports, so you are able to watch those spring sports that we missed last year.
Lastly, do you think any of the changes during this COVID year will remain for the 2021-2022 school year?
You know what, I'm not sure about that, and I don't think anybody knows. It's going to be dependent on how the state is doing with COVID numbers. Are we vaccinated? Are we mask wearing? Are we social distancing? All that's going to be determined later. But what we need to do is focus in on this year. We are finishing up the winter season, and we are moving, just like we just said, to the spring sports. And we need to make sure that those spring sports get a solid season, since they did miss last year. So let's do everything we can to make sure we follow the governor's orders and we get to the finish line. I'm so excited, JP, that we are coming towards the end. We are finishing winter sports. We had our fall sports. And that goal that we are going to play all sports in New Mexico in the 2021 school year is happening. Now let's just do it and let's get to the finish line.